In this bustling village, a beautiful girl, raised in a kind and generous family, becomes blinded by wealth, only wanting to marry rich. You won't believe what this leads her to, and the valuable lesson it will teach you. You won't want to miss this. Once upon a time, in a vibrant and bustling village, lived Aduni. Aduni was very rich and exceptionally beautiful. She owned a grand house, lots of shiny clothes, and many sparkling jewels, all gifts from her father before he passed away. Everyone in the village admired her, but Aduni was a bit different. She preferred to associate only with people who were as wealthy as she was. She often ignored the smiles of those less fortunate, choosing not to return their gestures of kindness. Her father, however, was known for his generosity and kindness to everyone, regardless of their wealth. The villagers loved him dearly and hoped that one day Aduni would follow in his footsteps. Despite their admiration, Aduni showed no interest in marriage. Her mother often reminded her, "Aduni, you're not getting any younger. Find someone nice." But Aduni would shake her head and say, "No, I want someone very special. He must be richer than me, incredibly kind, and never married before." The villagers whispered, "Who could that be? No one like that lives here." So Aduni waited and waited, thinking about the perfect man. She believed that somewhere, somehow, she would find him. For now, she enjoyed her riches, her big house, and her shiny things, not ready to share them with anyone yet. One sunny day, Aduni met Afolabi. Afolabi was from another village not too far away. He was rich just like Aduni. He too had inherited his wealth from his family. Aduni liked him because he was rich, and Afolabi liked her too. They decided to get married and live together. At first, everything was sweet and happy. They laughed, ate delicious food, and lived in a big cozy house. Aduni and Afolabi seemed perfect for each other. But after a while, things started to change. Aduni liked to make all the decisions. She wanted to be the boss. When Afolabi suggested something, Aduni would often say, "No, we do it my way." She thought that because she was rich and a bit older, she should be in charge. One day Afolabi had to go on a trip. He told Aduni, "Please stay home until I come back." But Aduni didn't listen. She went out to play with her friends and traveled far away without telling Afolabi. When Afolabi came back, he found the house quiet and empty. He asked, "Where is Aduni?" The housekeeper said, "She left to have fun with her friends." Afolabi waited for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Then Aduni came back. Afolabi was very upset. "Where did you go?" he asked. Aduni didn't like the question. "Why do you ask? I can go where I want," she said. They argued loudly and for a long time. Afolabi said, "You should respect me. I am still the head of this house." But Aduni didn't agree. She was angry. "I don't need to listen to you. No man can control my life," she said. And with that, Aduni packed her bags and went back to her own village, leaving Afolabi and their home behind. She was single again, back in her big house, thinking about what happened. People in the village whispered about Aduni and Afolabi, wondering what would happen next. Aduni's mother was sad too. She said, "No marriage is perfect, Aduni." But Aduni didn't want to hear it. She thought she would just find another man, a better one this time. After leaving Afolabi, Aduni met Ayotunde. Ayotunde wasn't rich like Afolabi or Aduni, but he had a big heart. He was the kindest man in the village. Aduni thought, "Well, he is very caring. That's one thing I wanted." So Aduni and Ayotunde decided to get married. Since Ayotunde wasn't as rich, he had to move into Aduni's big house. He did everything to make Aduni happy. He cooked delicious meals, cleaned the house until it sparkled, and even gave Aduni foot rubs after her long days. Ayotunde would sometimes buy Aduni pretty dresses with the little money he had. He always said, "I just want you to smile, Aduni." For a while, Aduni loved it. She was happy she could control him. It was as if Aduni was the husband and Ayotunde was the wife. She felt like a queen. Ayotunde was always there, making sure she was comfortable and happy. But soon, Aduni started to feel something was missing. Aduni saw that Ayotunde didn't bring in any money. He spent his days making sure she was happy, but the big house and shiny things needed money to maintain. Aduni thought, Ayotunde is nice, very caring, but he's too lazy. He never contributes much to the family. Instead, all he does is just sit and enjoy my labor. Then one evening, Aduni sat down with Ayotunde. She said, "You are very kind, Ayotunde, but kindness doesn't fill our pots with food or keep this house." Ayotunde felt sad. He wanted to make Aduni happy, but didn't know how without money. Aduni's mother talked to her. "Aduni, you have to choose. Do you want Ayotunde's kindness or someone who brings in money? A man who has so much time to care all day and night would barely have much time for work, my dear." Aduni thought hard. Finally, she said, "I need more than kindness." So Aduni told Ayotunde, "You need to leave. You're not the husband I need." Ayotunde was very sad, but he packed his bags and left. Aduni was alone again. She had everything she wanted in her big house, but she wasn't happy. She missed Ayotunde's kindness, but wanted more. The villagers whispered, "Aduni has sent another husband away. What will she do now?" After Ayotunde left, Aduni felt a bit lonely, but then she met Kehinde. Kehinde was like a dream, everything she had wanted in a man. He was handsome, he was rich, very rich. He was also kind and caring, and he had never been married. Aduni thought, "Wow, Kehinde is just perfect." So Aduni and Kehinde got married, and it seemed like Aduni finally found her perfect match. Kehinde was everything Aduni wanted. He bought her beautiful things, took her to fun places, and always made sure she was smiling. They danced, they laughed, and their house was full of joy. Aduni felt very lucky. But after some time, things started to change again. Kehinde was nice and all, but Aduni sometimes forgot to be nice back. She didn't say please or thank you. She didn't cook or clean. She thought, Kehinde loves me, so I don't need to do these things. Kehinde had friends and family who would come over. Aduni didn't greet them nicely. She just said hello without smiling. Kehinde's family was very important to him, especially his parents, but Aduni didn't visit them or help them. She said, "Why should I? They can take care of themselves." Kehinde's parents noticed this. They said, "Kehinde, a wife should be kind and respectful, not just to her husband, but to his family too." They were upset. They told Kehinde, "Aduni isn't right for our family." Kehinde was sad, but he knew his family was right. He loved Aduni, but he also knew respect and kindness were important. So Kehinde talked to Aduni. He said, "We can't be together if you don't respect me and my family." Aduni was shocked. She didn't expect this, but Kehinde had made up his mind. Aduni packed her things and went back to her village alone again. Back home, Aduni thought about Kehinde. She had everything she wanted, but she still wasn't happy. She started to wonder, maybe it's not just about finding the perfect husband. Maybe I need to be a better wife too. But it was too late for her and Kehinde. When Aduni came back to her village, after leaving Kehinde, she got a big surprise. A flood had come and washed away a lot of the village, including the farms that made Aduni so rich. Suddenly, Aduni didn't have all her money anymore. Her big house didn't feel so big when there was no food to eat or money to spend. Aduni and her mother had to leave their big house. They moved into a small hut, much smaller than anywhere Aduni had ever lived. At first, Aduni felt very sad. She missed her soft bed, her shiny things, and her beautiful clothes. Now she wore simple dresses and helped her mother cook with whatever food they could find. Living in the small hut, Aduni started to think a lot. She remembered Afolabi, Ayotunde, and Kehinde. She thought about how she acted with them. I had 3 good husbands, she said to herself, but I wasn't a good wife. I want to be the boss with Afolabi. I didn't value Ayotunde's kindness, and I didn't respect Kehinde or his family. That she had been looking for the perfect husband without thinking about what it means to be a good wife. I was not nice, Aduni realized. I did not share or help. I only thought about what I wanted. In the small hut, Aduni learned to live with less. She talked to her neighbors, the ones she had ignored when she was rich. They were nice to her. They shared their food and stories. Aduni started to help others too. She shared whatever she and her mother had. Aduni's heart began to change. In the small hut, she learned to say please and thank you. She learned to listen and not always be the boss. She found out that being rich with money wasn't the same as being rich in heart. One day, Aduni said to her mother, "I was wrong. It wasn't my husband's fault. It was mine. I forgot to be kind and respectful." Her mother hugged her. She was happy to see Aduni understanding. Living simply, Aduni learned a big lesson. She discovered that being happy doesn't need lots of money or being in charge. Happiness comes from being kind, sharing, and respecting others. Aduni was ready to be not just rich, but also a good person as Aduni started to live her new, simpler life. She met someone unexpected. His name was Goke. Goke was very different from the men Aduni had married before. He wasn't rich and he had been married once. He didn't match any of the things Aduni used to want in a husband. But there was something special about Goke. He was kind, he laughed a lot, and he cared about Aduni in a way no one had before. Aduni and Goke became friends. They talked, they helped each other, and they laughed together. Aduni liked how Goke made her feel. She didn't worry about being rich or being in charge. With Goke, she was just Aduni. One day, Goke asked Aduni if she would marry him. Aduni thought about it. Goke didn't have a lot of money. He wasn't what she had always said she wanted. But Aduni realized those things weren't what made her happy. Being cared for, sharing laughs, and helping each other, that's what made her happy. So Aduni said yes to Goke. They got married and started their life together in the small hut. It was a happy life, simpler than Aduni's life before, but fuller in many ways. Goke and Aduni didn't have much, but they had each other. They shared everything they had and worked together to make their little home a place of love and laughter. Aduni was loyal to Goke. She didn't look for someone richer or more powerful. She learned to appreciate what she had. Goke and Aduni respected each other. They listened when the other spoke and helped each other without needing to be asked. Their neighbors saw how happy Aduni and Goke were. They saw how Aduni had changed. She was kinder, she smiled more, and she helped others. Aduni had grown. She learned that happiness didn't come from having the most money or being in charge. Happiness came from sharing life with someone who cared, from being kind. and from being content with what you have. Aduni and Goke's marriage was not like the stories of riches and palaces. It was a story of true happiness found in a small hut with simple clothes and simple food. But it was their story, and it was filled with love. Aduni finally found what she was looking for, not in wealth or power, but in a heart that matched hers. In the quiet of a beautiful evening, Aduni sat outside her small hut, looking at the stars. She thought about her long journey, from the days of living in a big house with lots of shiny things, to now living simply with Goke. Her heart was full. Aduni remembered how she once thought that having a husband who was rich, caring, and never married would make her happy. She had married Afolabi, Ayotunde, and Kehinde, looking for happiness in what they could give her or how they made her feel. But each time, something was missing. It wasn't until everything changed, until she lost her wealth and lived a simpler life, that Aduni found true happiness with Goke. Aduni learned that happiness wasn't about being rich or being in charge. Happiness was about sharing, understanding, and loving. She learned that no marriage is perfect. Every relationship has its challenges, but it's how you face those challenges together that matters. It's about understanding each other, making compromises, and being there for one another. Aduni realized her mistakes. She saw that she had been looking for perfection in her husbands without being willing to give the same in return. She understood that a happy marriage isn't about finding someone who meets all your criteria, but about building a life together where both partners feel valued and loved. As Aduni looked at the stars, she felt grateful for her journey. It had taught her about the true meaning of love and happiness. She was thankful for Goke, for his love, and for the life they shared together. The moral of Aduni's story is clear. No marriage is 100% complete. What makes a marriage perfect is not finding the perfect person, but finding someone you can grow with, understand, and compromise with to build a strong, loving relationship. Happiness comes not from seeking perfection in others, but from appreciating what you have, and from the love and understanding you share together. Aduni's story is a reminder that the key to a happy life and a happy marriage lies not in the wealth or status of your partner, but in the love, respect, and understanding you share. And that, in the end, is the most precious thing of all. I hope you enjoyed the tale. If so, please like the video, share it with your family and friends, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for more enchanting tales like this one. Goodbye.